Who is the Venezuelan Tessio? Well, today we are going to discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Today I'm going to make you an offer you can refuse. Please subscribe to the channel, give your thumbs up, or else I will send Luca Brazzi. I'm kidding, I'm just a big fan of The Godfather and seems appropriate today because today we're going to speak who is the Venezuelan Tessio. In case you don't know, in The Godfather, I love the movie and some of you also love the saga and some people criticize that Godfather 3 wasn't that good. But anyway, in the first movie of the saga, there is this character known as Tessio. He was very close to the protagonist, the Corleones, and he ends up being the traitor. And at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, we figure out that, Michael Corleone, Al Pacino, figured out that he was the traitor. Now, before that, at the midst of the movie, Vito Corleone, who is the Michael Corleone's father, he was the godfather, when the last days before he passed away, Vito Corleone warns Michael that there is someone within, the family, the organization, the criminal family, that is a traitor. And how would you know that he is a traitor? Well, he will be the guy that he will approach you and will suggest a meeting with Barsini. Barsini is the rival, mafia boss guy that he got killed at the end of the movie. So, spoiler alert again. And of course, Michael Corleone is the protagonist. He figures out that he is the traitor, and that scene actually happens. Tessio approaches Michael and says that he wants to make a meeting with Barsini, and in order, to, you know, let's say, pull some rough edges on the relationship. They were killing each other basically, and he was gonna get killed. But Michael Corleone actually figured that one out, and that particular scene when Tessio approaches Michael, that indeed happened. And at the end of the movie, he killed everyone, including Tessio, because he figured out. And Tessio only said, nothing personal, it's just business. Well, today I'm here, putting my Godfather, attitude and saying, this is nothing personal, just business. Today we're going to explain how you're going to recognize the Venezuelan Tessio. That, by the way, doesn't have to be Venezuelan. There are a lot. And second, there are from many nationalities. And actually, a bunch of them are not Venezuelans. And that's why I wanted to address this today. Okay, two things. First, how they are doing it, how you will recognize them. And number two, why they are doing it. And just like the original Tessio, nothing personal, it's just business. Well, very good. I'm taking care of business of my own here. Well, the first thing that they're going to tell you on their analysis, but actually I've mentioned a bunch of them. Some of them are doing it naively because they don't know better about Venezuela. And the second bunch, either they are doing it for a particular ulterior motive or just in order to sell their particular bias. Some of these people are socialist communists, and other of these people are some of these weird right-wing pro-Russian stance, something like that, and they want to sell that narrative as well. So the first thing that they are going to tell you is that in Venezuela, it will happen a scenario like Vietnam, like Libya. They're using Libya a lot, like Syria, like Iraq, things like that. And that is not going to happen. And why it's not going to happen? Because Venezuela is not a fucking Middle Eastern country, and that's why I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pardon me, my French, but I'm getting upset of seeing some of these morons, I'm sorry, and I don't have a nicer way to put it. But these people don't speak Spanish, know nothing or very little about the country, and they are doing this genius analysis. Meanwhile, myself, that over 3 decades, born and raised in the country, very savvy, business, economics, both on school level and also on the experience level. So boots on the ground, as I always tell you, and these people can come out of nowhere and try to, grade analysis and getting very well paid for that. Yeah, that's the other thing that pisses me off. And you know that, and I've been very transparent with you that Venezuela is a moving target. Being ahead of the curve is very, very hard, and I barely can keep up with the situation because the situation keeps is hard to keep up and changes a lot. Meanwhile, what most people abroad do is give you these simplistic explanations, and they just stay on particular time frames of things that have happened on the past, like 2017, that we explained this a lot, that we had food scarcity and things like that, and the migration, yada yada yada. So first, these people are very simplistic. Second, they're gonna sell, yet again, they're gonna tell you, the it's not Libya, it's not Syria. I mean, that's not gonna happen. They are wrong. Also, they speak about regime change, and apparently, I mean, it's hard to explain because this is more philosophical, because you have basically a second set of government, the quote unquote opposition, and they already allegedly they won an election. So it's not quote unquote a regime change, something that already happened. And they are targeting particular people within the Venezuelan government. That's what they are doing. And of course, that will generate a quote unquote coup. Yeah, so let's keep it spade a spade. It is what it is. But still, they are associating, because I know Americans. I'm sorry, they are, they have still, post traumatic stress about the situation in Iraq with W. Bush and all that stuff, and they remember Vietnam with, with Kissinger and Nixon and Lyndon B. Johnson. Okay, I get it. It's on their history, but this is completely different. So that's the first thing. The second thing, they are gonna make a bunch of lies regarding economics and the government and politics and yada 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 yada. That is not the case. For instance, the last one I saw is Tucker Carlson saying a bunch. I mean, throughout the years, and I made a bunch of reactions about terrible analysis about Venezuela, and Tucker is arguably the worst, honestly, or is or is on the conversation. Uh, Everything that Tucker Carlson says about Venezuela is completely wrong. Same thing with the Colonel Douglas McGregor, because that was the conversation. Or you have a couple of Tessios right there. Now let's go why they are doing it. They are doing it because they have a particular bias or a particular incentive. I don't know which one it is. It could be political, could be on economics, could be just in order to generate buzzwords, get traction on the algorithm, something like that. I know the Venezuelan situation is quite hot on social media and mainstream media, actually. And these people, yeah, you know, they're giving you terrible information. I'm seeing a lot of these new kind of conservatives also, because they don't want a US intervention in Venezuela, and I don't want it neither, but I'm not gonna lie in order to, try to avoid it. I mean, I'm just giving you the play by play. And the other thing is, neither those people or me, we are gonna get consulted on the White House on why this is gonna happen. I mean, they're gonna do it regardless of our opinion. So let's keep it like it is. On that regard, so it's frankly embarrassing, because first, you're not gonna stop if the quote unquote special military operation is going to happen, we are not going to stop it. No, a talking head on YouTube or in Rumble or in Twitter or whatever is not going to stop it. So at least don't embarrass yourself saying lies or poor analysis about Venezuela, because you will be disregarded as a trusted source, like I try to do here since the past few years. Lastly, in order to close this thing, you're gonna see a bunch of, like I said all the time, you're gonna see a bunch of misinformation, terrible analysis, yada yada yada. So what I can recommend is following the play-by-play, and following the data, and following the facts, and that's it. Don't, regardless of the particular political bias of the people that you see commenting about Venezuela. That, for instance, something that I heard recently about, the Jews in Israel. Most people in Venezuela don't care about the Middle East, if Israel or the Jews or Palestine, yada yada yada. Venezuelans don't care about it. They don't care about, like the UN agenda and the WF, and those things are completely irrelevant, or woke progressive stuff, or I mean, they don't care. They don't care. Venezuelans don't care. So it doesn't matter. And so please try not to tie your own personal bias, your particular political bias, on Venezuela, because, and I'm saying this because I'm seeing a bunch of, and lastly, I'm seeing a handful of conservatives saying about it. Also, when they talk about sanctions, please take it with a grain of salt, because it's a complicated matter that we have discussed here on how actually affects the economy of Venezuela and how it doesn't affect the economy of Venezuela. So we have discussed here, and the reality is in the middle, something like that. But yet again, this video was poised. I'm here like Vito Corleone, warning you, Michael. You know, beware of the traitor, beware of Tessio. So, thanks again. See each other soon.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.